Okay, so I have just read The Frog Prince. Well, what we think of as The Frog Prince, where it came from. It's actually called The Frog King or Iorn Henry. This story was crazy. So it starts off pretty, pretty normal. The little girl, she has her golden ball. She's super, super beautiful, not too smart, playing with a metal ball near water, falls into a well. All of a sudden, this frog pops up and he's like, hey, I can get this ball for you, but you have to give me something. And she's like, yeah, I'll give you gold or, my crown or, clothes or food or whatever it is that you want. And he says, no, I want to be your companion. I want to be your partner. I want to sleep in your bed. I want to eat off your food. I want to do everything you want to do. And I want to be your husband / I want to beep you. I want to beep you, okay? Like, you're beautiful. Let's get it on. I don't care that I'm a frog. This is going to happen. Let's get it on. And she was like, well, I really do want my ball back. So she's like, sure, frog, whatever you say. But as soon as the frog goes under the water, she's thinking, this dumbass frog, there's a well. He's a frog. He has to stay near water. This isn't going to happen. I'm just going to get my ball back. Everything's going to be cool. I'm going to peace out. So then frog goes down in the water, comes back up 10 seconds later, spits a ball back up. And she's like, sweet, peace, thanks. Takes off running. He's like, princess, what about me? Yo, pick me up. I can't run like you. She's like, peace out, homeboy. Boom, gone, right? So the next day, she's having a good day. She's eating with her father. Everything's fine. And then all of a sudden, they hear something coming up the steps, like a wet sound. Slop, 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 slop. And she's like, what in the beat? And then next thing you know, something knocks on the door and it starts crying out for the princess, the youngest princess. So she looks around. She's like, oh, I guess that's me. Opens the door. Sure enough, it's the frog. And he's like, did you forget what you promised me? I'm here to collect, girl. And she slams the door in his face and she runs back to her table and she sits down. And her father says, what's wrong? What happened? And she says, well, the other day I was playing with my ball, it fell in the water. There's a frog outside who basically wants to beep me and, I don't want to have sex with him. I don't want to be his companion and I don't want him touching me. I don't want him anywhere near me. And so the king says, well, that sucks. Maybe you should make better choices, but you did promise this, so you're going to go ahead and you're going to give this frog what he wants. My bad, girl, but this is what you chose for yourself. So he forces her to let him in. Sure enough, frog comes in. He says, pick me up. She puts him on the chair. He wants to sit on the table. He wants to eat off of her plate. She, can't even eat. He is, grossing her out, and he's, happily eating everything down. Yay, it's food again, And then he's like, okay, I'm full, I'm satisfied. He's like, it's time for us to take a nap together, girlie. And she is not down. She doesn't want to. Her dad gets pissed. He's like, look, you told this frog you're going to go through with all of this, so you're going to go through with all this. I don't like it, you don't like it, but, you're never going to promise anybody else anything again. So let's just take your lesson for what it is. So she reluctantly takes, 2 fingers and, grabs the frog and, carries him like this to her room and throws him into a corner, and she gets into bed, but the frog isn't happy in the corner. He comes up and he says, hey, I want to come to bed with you. I want to come to bed with you. I want to come to bed with you. If you don't want me in the bed, I'm going to tell your father. So she gets pissed and she's like, you little frog. She picks him up and throws him as hard as she can against the wall. Splat! But then, instead of him dying, she looks over, and all of a sudden, there's not a frog there. There's a beautiful, handsome prince on the ground. So he wakes up, and he's like, hey, babe, sorry, I was bewitched. I guess I could have told you that. I had the ability to speak, but I couldn't tell you about that, and I'm a human now. You want to come to my kingdom? And she's like, sure. So they go to sleep. Next day, carriage wakes, sun's coming in. Carriage comes to pick him up, and there's this guy named Henry, which is named Faithful Henry because he loved the king so much that he put bands of metal around his heart to keep his heart from bursting because he needed to be imprisoned as long as his king was imprisoned as a frog. So he lets the bands be imprisoned around his heart, and basically they get in the carriage, and as they're going away back to the king's castle, they start hearing these sounds of something breaking. The frog prince is like, oh, is the carriage breaking? And Henry's like, no, that's the bands springing off of my heart to release my heart from its imprisonment because you're safe. Now I'm safe. Now we're all free and happy. And that was it. So the frog prince is really the Frog King or Iorn Henry. So the story of Iorn Henry, it's he's just the footnote in this, but somehow he got in the title But, I mean, they don't tell much about the story of him. It's like where did he come from? He's just some guy who was so in love with his king, he needed to put something around his heart. So, I mean, in the end of the day, what is that about? I don't know. So, there you go. Frog Prince, Iorn Henry. What do you think? Brothers Grimm, the original.